Hello, once again. I'm Dave Gibson, editor of Third Wednesday Magazine, a quarterly journal of poetry, fiction, and visual arts. Here with another reading, this time by D.E. Green. Doug Green taught English at Augsburg University for 33 years. He's published articles on Shakespeare, general interest essays, and poetry. His poem, Gratitude, won the 2018 Martin Lake Journal Bookend Prize. Other work has appeared in Bright Light, Stories in the Night, Southeastern Minnesota Poets 2021 and 2022, in Red Wing Arts Poet-Artist Collaboration, also 2021 and 2022. In Third Wednesday, in Lost Lake Folk Opera, and Willows Wept Review in Visual Verse, with Peter Sorel's photographs in Lake Sky 2014, and on the sidewalks of his hometown of Northfield, Minnesota. 3 of his poems were recognized in the 2022 League of Minnesota Poets contest. His collection, Jumping the Median, was published in 2019. As one of 5 poets in the Northfield Public Library, his work is included in their anthology, We Look West 2024. Jointly with spouse Becky Boling, Green has been serving as Interim Northfield Poet Laureate. His latest chapbook is Catastrophizing and Catastrophe, published in 2023. He'll be reading from that book for us right now. And so here is Doug Green.
Hi, I'm Doug Green, D.E. Green, and I'm here today to read from my book, 2023 book, Catastrophizing and Catastrophe. I do want to note that I'm part of another collection, We Look West, with 5 other poets of the Northfield Public Library. Catastrophizing and Catastrophe, which I published in 2023, is a project that grew out of fundraising for the Augsburg English department. I wrote poems for donors, not poems about donors, just poems for donors. And therefore I used, in many cases, not in all, but in many cases, formal poems, sestinas, ghazals, haiku, a variety of different forms. And I'll give you a sampling of those today. So let me begin at the beginning. I should also say that this book grew out of poems written during the pandemic period. But I think that they reflect not just the troubles of that particular moment, but also a kind of resilience that we still, I think, need today. So I'm going to start with a poem called, and this is just in stanzas, free-form stanzas, called Hang Your Head. Hang your head, as I hang mine. We are forlorn horses in a barren field, heads drooping over brown stubble. We have sad, dark eyes. Rivers of sweat run down our flanks, streaking our blue-black hides with rust-red, dampened dust. We seem to passing eyes the saddest creatures, without sustenance, without purpose, and yet here we are, nibbling still at the yellow tufts of nothing before us, making do, surviving, till again we thrive. The next poem that I'll read is a modernized or modified ghazal, and it's called Old Chicken. And you'll hear a little reference to Emily Dickinson right from the get-go. Hope is perhaps the thing with feathers. I'm not sure. But I know it has no working wings, It pecks scraps in the yard and molts. Optimism would be welcome now. A pleasant thought might cure, if not a virus, a lot of other ills, like the spiritual mold that mildews the soul and the eyes obscures. No, hope no longer flies. It has no lift. It's grown quite old and sere. It doesn't know what it's waiting for, what arrival to expect when expectation seems far too bold. They say hope is evergreen and will wind and rough weather endure. But that's wishful thinking when day after endless day, nothing new unfolds. That's probably my saddest, or one of my sadder ones. Um, this is a very different vein. I really, one of the things about writing so many poems in forms was that I learned a great deal about form itself and what the advantages are of it. I've always done some work in form, sonnets in particular, and I'll have one a bit later. But I really became enamored of them, and it was quite a challenge as well. So it stretched me a bit. This is a pantoum. It's called Joy Fills Me. At dawn, peach rose-petaled auras and pure baby blue stripes ribbon a cloudless sky. Joy fills me. The colors, the dog's canter, everything betokens happiness. Bright baby blue pervades the noontide sky, blind strollers through parks, drivers on boulevards. Joy fills me, colors the day. I canter, a pup, thoroughly alive, exuberant. Blind strollers through parks, drivers on boulevards. I feel what they feel. Blood pulsing joy like a pup, so alive, exuberant. I want to bark and howl at brilliant moons. What others feel, I do. Blood pulsing joy, the wails of grieving loss, the song of sun. Oh, let us bark and howl at brilliant moon. Let us trill delights, sigh lamentations, the wails of grieving loss, the songs of sun. At dawn raise auras, peach petal and purple. We have trilled delights, sighed lamentations. Let joy now fill, now color us, set hearts a canter. That's more of a pick-me-up, I think. And in some ways, I found oddly that that form encouraged me to be Whitman-esque in some fashion. Um, I feel what they feel. This is a villanelle. It's called Dress Rehearsal. Daily life is not a dress rehearsal for living, but itself the performance. We're on stage now before the grand dispersal. There's no practice run to perfect lines and all, no backstage where we wait in dormancy. Daily life is not a dress rehearsal. It's our being. The here and now is all we have. We can't appeal for clemency. We're on stage now, before the grand dispersal. Let's not wait, but act, not be too careful, nor stymied by striving for importance. Our daily life isn't a dress rehearsal for something better, something magical. Of life perfected, no one can inform us. We're on stage now, but will soon disperse, all dissolve into the ether universal, mere elements amid a cosmic dance. Life's simply not a dress rehearsal. We're on the stage now, just before dispersal. And this was when I was, before I retired, I taught creative writing, among other things, at Augsburg. And I loved assigning sestinas to my students because there's really nothing more maddening, especially if you like control. You can control the first stanza, but after that, the poem will tell you what it wants to do. The words would tell you. This one takes its cue from a line of Marvel's, Andrew Marvel's, to a green thought in a green shade. I like the pun on my name. It's easy for me to pun on my name because it's a color. It's called In a Green Shade, and it went in places I wasn't sure I couldn't predict I was going to go. In a Green Shade. Once upon a time is over. It's raining again. The clouds have opened, a downpour. The drops ping their song above our heads. Housebound as we are, awaiting the greening of the world. I want to transform it all to a green thought in a green shade. Now, to take time by the shoulders and insist on the bond I understand between us. I want to rein in the present dirge and hear a happier song, wafted through the summer air across the open fields. Right now, nothing feels open. The very possibility of fertile green hopes seems yesterday's song. The drops ping. I time their plunking overhead. The rain should feel like a gift that binds us together. And aren't we bound to one another? Mustn't we open ourselves to the rain, to the possibility of greater worlds, more joyful times, when the music of earth song will raise our spirits, singing themselves of the harmonic bond of creature to creature from times more distant than we can imagine. Open your heart, love, I want to say. The green will come again, will reign over the fields and forests. The rain does not signal an end if we hear its song. It moves the world and us into those green thoughts that one life bind to another, that open our hearts to beating time. Our pulse keeps time, like those drops of rain we hear now. Let's open ourselves to that song, hear in it what binds us to this life evergreen. And I'll read one sonnet. I've got this poem and one more. This is called Love's Surgery. I was looking for a good person, and yet not greatly good. Anyone in a pinch might do, who would look at me with loving eyes and recognize that core so clenched the coil would not to touch untwist, but require inordinate patience, the operation of love's exacting surgeon, expert, passionate persistence. And there you are, scrubbed, uniformed, and masked for the procedure. Your scalpel ready to cut me to the very heart. No time for anesthesia, no time for thought. I can see only your eyes flashing green. You're just the light. Breathe, commence your task. I'm never sure when I read that poem whether love is fixing one or undoing one. This one is a favorite of mine, and it's the one that I think I'll end with. It's called Peon to Compression Stockings. Chronic pain held you hostage for months. Touch had fled into exile. But after the hip replacement, your compression stockings brought us back together. Those tight black knee-highs. I had to work out the wrinkles so that the flow of your blood would not be constricted. I loved kneading your calves. I loved kneading you. I love those socks. Thank you. Thank you, David, for inviting me to do this.
Thank you, Doug. Thanks for an enjoyable reading. Once again, I'm Dave Gibson for Third Wednesday Magazine. Join us again for another reading from one of our contributing poets. And once again, thank you to Doug Green for this evening. Good night.